Well, good afternoon, church. We're here this afternoon on what we call Maundy Thursday. Now, many, believe it or not, in the congregations do not even know what that means. And so today I'm going to on it to simplify, hopefully, so you will understand exactly why we celebrate Maundy Thursday. There are a lot of denominations that do not celebrate Maundy Thursday, and yet it is an important event of Holy Week that we celebrate. So I'm going to read something from John in the 13th chapter, starting with verse 1, and hopefully this will put a little light on it for you. Hear these words. Now before the festival of Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The devil had already put it into the heart of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray him. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God, and was going to God, got up from the table. He took off his outer robe, tied a towel around himself, and then he poured water on a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. And he came to Simon Peter, who said to him, Lord, are you going to wash my feet? But Jesus answered, You do not know what I am doing, but later you will understand. But Peter said to him, You will never wash my feet. But Jesus answered, Unless I wash you, you have no share with me. Then Simon Peter said to him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. But Jesus said to him, One who has bathed does not need to wash except for the feet, but is entirely clean. And you are clean, though not all of you. For he knew who was going to betray him for this reason. He said, Not all of you are clean. And after he had washed their feet, and had put on his robe, and returned to the table, he said to them, Do you know what I have done for you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, wash your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Very truly I tell you, servants are no greater than their masters, nor are the masters greater than the one who sent them. Verse 31. And when he had gone out, Jesus said, Now the Son of Man has been glorified, and God has been glorified in him. And if God has been glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and will glorify him once. Little children, I am with you only for a little longer. You will look for me, and as I said to the Jews, so now I say to you, where I am going you cannot come. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. And you also should love one another. And by this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. As Jesus is saying his goodbyes to his disciples and setting them examples, because they're all together, they're celebrating what Jews all over the world are celebrating right now is the Passover. One of the most prominent parts of Jewish history and of their rites of passage that they use. For we call it the Lord's Supper, we call it the Eucharist. We're sitting at the table. Jesus took bread, gave thanks to God, broke the bread, gave it to his disciples and told them to take and eat. For this is my body broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me. When the supper was over, he took the cup. Once again gave thanks to God. Then gave it to his disciples, and he said, drink from this, all of you. For this is my blood of a new covenant, poured out for you and for many, for the forgiveness of sins. And as often as you do this in remembrance of me. The Eucharist, the Lord's Supper, shared by many, many churches throughout the world. But during this time of celebration with the disciples, he did something totally out of context. He took off his outer garment, tied a towel around himself, poured water into a basin, then proceeded to each disciple with the basin he took and washed their feet. Then he dried them with the towel. And of course, the only one who really said anything was Simon Peter, who always said sometimes too much. But it was an act of love, an act of servitude, to show them that the master is no greater than the servant, especially in the eyes of God. This is why we celebrate our Maundy Thursdays. It's the importance to remember what Christ has done for each and every one of us. And the Lord's Supper is a time to be in communion with God, and the washing of one another's feet is a time to show you care, that you love, and you respect one another, and let them know that we're equal in the eyes of God, who loves each and every one of us. So, get into the scriptures if you would like. 13th chapter of John. Find out about what it is all about. And don't forget, if I've left something out, ask your pastor. Ask your pastor. And tonight at 6:30, Reverend Curtis Clark will be going on celebrating Maundy Thursday as well. I hope you tune in to him at the Marysville United Methodist Church on their Facebook page. Turn into him as well. I love listening to Curtis, so share with him. But we're in our Holy Week, and so I wanted to share that part with you as we cannot be together. So what I want you to do is think about it. Tomorrow night is Good Friday, and tomorrow night I will tell you why they call it Good Friday. But until that time, please stay safe, be blessed. Wash your hands, wash your hands. What did I say? Wash your hands. Amen. God bless, and good night. I don't know if anybody's watching, but...
Hold on, I'm not done yet.
You're not done?
No, it's not shutting off.
Oh. There.
No.
We're still live, folks.
Yes, we are.
So enjoy it. While our technical director gets us down.